Now what we will try to do is we will try to discuss these things one by one.
One of the important topics that may be asked in the exams is the menstrual cycle.
अब अगर प्रेगनेंसी हो गई,
May be asked about the diagram of sperm.
यह छु cumulus ovorus, यह छु Graafian follicle. This is the overview of the testes. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. As all of you must be knowing that we have started an Agaz series here at R90 Institute, which is definitely going to help the students that are going to appear in their boards of class 10, 11 and 12. And myself, Tashok Ahmeddar, and I will be dealing with the zoology part. Now today we will start with the zoology of class 12th, and we will start with human reproduction.
Now if we talk about humans are dioecious organisms,
meaning that we require two individuals, male and female, for the process of reproduction. In other cases, there are cases in which a single organism can function as both male and female. Those organisms are known as hermaphrodites. Now if we talk about humans, in humans we have
male and female.
I will just try to give you a brief overview of what we are going to study in this class.
Now we have male reproductive system and we have female reproductive system.
Now what is the main function of male reproductive system?
Male reproductive system helps in the process of gametogenesis, and so does female.
In males, sperms are the gametes formed by male reproductive system, and in females, ova is the male gamete, main gamete. So after the gametogenesis, the sperms are inserted into the female reproductive system by the process of insemination. And after insemination, what happens? The sperms and the ova, they undergo fertilization. Why is fertilization important? Fertilization, it restores the diploid character of humans. After fertilization, the formed diploid cell or zygote undergoes implantation in the female reproductive system. What is implantation? Implantation is the embedding of the blastocyst, that we will discuss later, blastocyst into the female uterus. After implantation, what happens? The female uterus carries the implanted blastocyst, and it undergoes the process of embryogenesis, and which lasts for 9 months, and the process is known as gestation. After 9 months, when the fetus is fully grown, it is expelled out of the body through a process known as parturition. Now what we will try to do is we will try to discuss these things one by one. We will start with the male reproductive system. If we talk about the male reproductive system, male reproductive system consists of primary sex organ, and we have secondary sex organs. Now, what are primary sex organs? Primary sex organs are those sex organs or those organs which are mainly concerned with the formation of the male gamete, that is sperm. So, in humans, we have a pair of testes which function as the male primary sex organ, and secondary sex organs we have ducts or tubes, we have glands, and we have ducts or tubes, we have glands, and we have copulatory organ. This is the main crux of this male reproductive system. We have primary sex organs, we have secondary sex organs. In primary sex organs, we have a pair of testes that are mainly responsible for the formation of male gamete, that is sperm. And what is the function of secondary sex organs? They help in the transportation or insemination of this male gamete into the female body. And here we have some glands that secrete various secretions that are a part of the semen, which we will discuss later. And now coming to the primary sex organ. We have testes. Now, if we look at the structure of a testis, let me draw an overview of we take a transverse section, a longitudinal section of testes. On the outside, we have a layer known as tunica vaginalis. This is the outermost covering of the human testes. And on the inside, we have another layer which is termed as tunica albuginea. It is the tunica albuginea that divides the testes into testicular lobules. And in human testes, the number of these testicular lobules ranges from 250 to 300. Now, we have another layer that is present between, here if I will draw it like this, suppose this is one testicular lobule, this is another testicular lobule. In between these two testicular lobules, we have another structure, another layer, vascularized layer, which consists of blood vessels that supply nutrition to the testes. This layer is termed as tunica vasculosa. Now, we have three coverings. We have tunica vaginalis on the exterior, then we have tunica albuginea, and then on the inner side we have tunica vasculosa. Now, coming to these testicular lobules, as I've already told you that we have 250 to 300 testicular lobules in one testes. Now, what is inside these testicular lobules? Inside the testicular lobules, we have seminiferous tubules. These are seminiferous tubules. How many seminiferous tubules are there? In each lobe, we have 2 to 3 seminiferous tubules. And these seminiferous tubules, these are the primary site of formation of sperms. This is the site of spermatogenesis which occurs in the testes. Now, when sperms are formed inside the seminiferous tubules, they travel through small ducts known as tubuli recti to another structure. For example, if I will draw it like this, we have another testicular lobule. These tubuli recti, they help in the transport of sperms from these seminiferous tubules to another region which is known as rete testes. Now once again, what happens? This rete testes helps in the primary storage or temporary storage of the sperms. Now after the sperms are stored in these rete testes, they are transported through another tube-like structures which are known as vasa efferentia to another structure which is known as epididymis, highly coiled structure which helps in the maturation of sperms. So once again, I will tell you, sperms are formed in seminiferous tubules. They travel through tubuli recti to rete testes, and from rete testes they travel to epididymis through small tube-like structures known as vasa efferentia. Now, if we talk about this epididymis, once again, storage and maturation of sperms takes place inside this part. Now, this part is divided into three regions. We have the head region which is known as caput. We have the body region which is known as corpus, and we have the tail region which is known as cauda. So after cauda, these sperms travel through long tubes which are known as vas deferens. This is the overview of the testes. How testes looks if we cut a section of testes. These are the structures which we will find. Now what happens after these vasa deferens? Look, suppose this is testes, this is epididymis, this is vas deferens, here we have the excretory system of humans. This is urinary bladder. Here the secretion of a gland known as seminal vesicle is poured into this is urethra. Seminal vesicle is poured into the vasa deferens, and the vasa deferens loops over the urinary bladder and secretes or transports its contents into the urethra through ejaculatory duct. Now we have a wider region just prior to the ejaculatory duct which is known as ampulla. Now what happens after this? This is the first gland, seminal vesicle. Suppose this is one testis and these are the secretions of one seminal vesicle. On the similar way, we have another testis located over here. It will receive the secretions of another seminal vesicle. So seminal vesicle is a paired structure.
and its secretions are known as seminal plasma. Now, what does this seminal plasma what are the constituents that lie in the seminal plasma? First of all, we have fructose, inositol. These are meant for the nutritional purpose. They provide nutrition to the sperms. Second, we have prostaglandins. What is the function of prostaglandins? It helps in the muscle contraction of the uterus to aid the sperm movement. And we have fibrinogen, which helps in the coagulation of the sperms. Now, this is one gland. Similarly, we have another gland, singular gland, that is present at the base of the urinary bladder surrounding the urethra. This gland is termed as prostate gland. And the secretions of this prostate gland are alkaline in nature. Oh, what is the fun of this fluid being alkaline? The main reason is because we have a common passage of both urine and semen. So the passage of urine through this urethra, what happens? It makes the walls of this urethra acidic. तो एल्कलीन इसलिए ज़रूरत है ताकि जो इसकी ये एसिडिटी है ये ख़त्म हो जाए, बिकॉज द एसिडिक मीडियम इज़ नॉट गुड फॉर द हेल्थ ऑफ द स्पर्म्स. नाउ what are the other constituents in this fluid? We have some amount of prostaglandins once again. We have ions, citrate ions, etc. And we have an enzyme known as fibrinolysin, which causes decoagulation of the coagulation. First of all, caused by fibrinogen, and this will cause declotting. These are two glands. And finally, we have the urethral structure. We have another type of glands that is present, which are termed as, that I will show you on the next slide. Suppose this is urethra. This is prostate. Here we have bulbourethral glands. These are also termed as Cowper's glands. And its secretions, they are mainly responsible for the lubrication. Now, at the end of this urethra, it is surrounded by penis. The enlarged part of a penis, the foremost part of the penis, it is known as glans penis. What is the main function of the penis? The penis helps in the insemination process. Now, if we draw a cross section of a penis, it is formed of three tissues, these two forming the corpora cavernosa, and this one is the corpora spongiosum. This contains the urethral opening. These are erectile tissues. Now, if we talk about the length of the urethra, it varies in males and females. In females, it's very short, it's about 4 centimeters in length, but in case of males, it's long and it's about 20 centimeters in length. So, lengthwise, we divide this portion of urethra into 3 parts. The portion where prostatic gland is present, we call it prostatic region. The small region where bulbourethral glands are present, it is known as membranous region. And the last part, surrounded by penis, is known as penile region. So here we are done with the male anatomy of male reproductive system. Now one thing we have here, you must be wondering what happens in the seminiferous tubules. So we will try to discuss that. We will try to discuss about the structure of the seminiferous tubules. So if we talk about seminiferous tubules, suppose if we draw a structure of one seminiferous tubules, it's shaped like this. So what does it contain? It contains the spermatogonia, and these are the cells which actually transform into sperms through a process of spermatogenesis that we will discuss later. First of all, we will look about the components present in the seminiferous tubules. This is one structure. Second structure we have, that is, we have some long columnar cells known as Sertoli cells. इनको हम नर्व सेल्स भी बोलते हैं. And suppose this is another set containing spermatogonia and nurse cell. Now between these two, or there are many present, so between these there is another type of cell which is present. These are interstitial cells, or we call them Leydig cells. Now, what is the role of these different type of cells in the spermatogenesis? First of all, if we talk about spermatogonia, we may say that these are future sperms. But if we talk about these Sertoli cells, what is the function of these Sertoli cells? First of all, they will provide nourishment to growing sperms. Secondly, they will be involved in the production of ABP, which means androgen binding protein. Thirdly, it secretes AMF, that is anti-Mullerian factor, and another substance regulates spermatogenesis. So first of all, you might have understood this, that nourishment to the growing sperms. Second, it secretes ABP, which is androgen binding protein. Now, what is androgen binding protein? It is a protein which helps in concentrating the testosterone which is produced by the interstitial cells into the seminiferous tubules. Now, AMF, anti-Mullerian factor. What does the anti-Mullerian factor do? जब भी कोई बच्चा पेट में होता है तो what happens, it has the tendency to grow into both male and female. Now, in the initial stages of embryogenesis, there are two types of ducts which are present. One is the Wolffian duct and another is the Mullerian duct. If the Mullerian duct grows, it will form the female reproductive part, but here we are talking about male reproductive system, so here female cannot grow. So what happens, it is the Sertoli cells that secretes AMF which inhibits the growth of Mullerian duct. It only supports the formation of or the development of the Wolffian duct, which later forms the male reproductive system. Now we have interstitial cells. What do the interstitial cells do? They are mainly responsible for the formation of male sex hormone, that is testosterone. अब आपको ये समझ आया होगा कि ABP क्या करता है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल यहाँ पे टेस्टोस्टेरोन इन्होंने सीक्रेट किया, तो ABP इसको अंदर कंसंट्रेट करेगा जहां पे एक्चुअल इसकी जरूरत है फॉर द प्रोसेस ऑफ स्पर्मेटोजेनेसिस. नाउ हाउ डू दे प्रोड्यूस दीज आर दी अंडर द इन्फ्लुएंस ऑफ हॉर्मोन्स. अब देखो, हाइपोथैलेमस secretes GnRH, gonadotropin releasing hormone. Gonadotropin releasing hormone acts on anterior pituitary. Anterior pituitary in response secretes two hormones, that is LH and FSH. What does LH do? Luteinizing hormone acts on interstitial cells. And FSH acts on Sertoli cells. These interstitials in response produce testosterone, and then FSH cells produce the substances that I have already written here. So this is all under the influence of hormones. Now this was done. Now we may discuss. Now we have discussed the seminiferous tubule. Now we will discuss कि अब जो ये sperms बनते हैं कैसे बनते हैं. What is the process? Spermatogenesis. We have spermatogonia, which are diploid cells. These undergo mitosis to form primary spermatocytes. But you should remember this happens only after puberty. Once again, these are once again diploid cells. Now one of these primary spermatocyte divides by meiosis 1 into two secondary spermatocytes. These secondary spermatocytes here, this is the meiotic division, meiosis 1, which is the reductional division, and you must be knowing what happens in the reductional division. the chromosomal number, here it was 2 and means it had a diploid set of chromosomes, that is 46. Now after meiosis 1, the chromosome number will be reduced to 23. Now once again, meiosis 2 will occur. And each secondary spermatocyte will form spermatid, and finally these spermatids will undergo maturation and form sperms. Now this step, the conversion of spermatid into sperms, this is known as spermiogenesis. And in this spermiogenesis, Sertoli cells play an important role. क्या होता है कि ये जो spermatids है, they are embedded in Sertoli cells, जिससे फिर maturation होती है and finally they are released. अब जब Sertoli cells से ये release होते हैं, then that process is known as spermiation. So don't confuse yourselves with spermiogenesis and spermiation. Spermiogenesis is the process in which sperms are produced from spermatids, and spermiation is the process in which the sperms, mature sperms, they leave the Sertoli cells. Now, in exams you might be asked that how many sperms are produced from a primary spermatocyte. यहाँ पे आपको पता चलेगा, here I am taking one primary spermatocyte, तो एक से कितनी बनती है? 4. Means 4 sperms are produced from one primary spermatocyte. Similarly, अगर आपको आएगा कि सेकेंडरी स्पर्मेटोसाइट से कितने स्पर्म्स बनते हैं, तो 2. ठीक है. So ऐसे भी क्वेश्चन आ सकता है कि फॉर एग्जाम्पल you need 100 sperms or 200 sperms. How many meiosis you need to? How many meiosis will happen for the formation of 100 sperms? Similarly, आपको पता है एक में 4 बनेंगे, so you need 25 meiosis to produce 100. Similarly, अगर 200 होगा तो 50, क्योंकि एक meiosis से, don't confuse yourselves with meiosis 1 and meiosis 2. This is a single meiotic division. These are the stages of meiosis, meiosis 1 and meiosis 2. अब और एक चीज आपको पता होनी चाहिए इस रिगार्डिंग, दैट इज फॉर एग्जाम्पल usually we have 44 plus XY chromosomes in males. 44 plus XY. Now during spermatogenesis what happens? 23 plus X or 23 plus Y. Means 50% of the sperms will carry X chromosome and 50% of the sperms will carry Y chromosome. Now in females you must be knowing that we have ovum contains 23 plus X chromosome. Now at the time of fertilization we can say what is the gender of the fetus. For example, if the sperm carrying X chromosome fertilizes with the female ovum, then the combination will be 44 plus XX, and if the Y chromosome fertilizes the egg, then the combination will be 44 plus XY. XX condition यहाँ पे फीमेल बनेगा, XY condition यहाँ पे मेल बनेगा. So what do you think? Who is responsible for the sex of the offspring? It is the male, because it is heterogametic. आधु में X chromosome होगा, आधु में Y chromosome होगा. Female has no role to play because उसके ovum में तो सिर्फ X chromosome ही होता है. So this is done. Now we will move on to female reproductive system. First of all, I will try to draw a diagram of this female reproductive system. This is the female reproductive system. आओ बैठो बच्चा. तो फीमेल रिप्रोडक्टिव सिस्टम में अगर आप देखेंगे, वी हैव fallopian tubes. These are the fallopian tubes. You divide into 3 regions. This is infundibulum region, which has fimbria. This is the ampulla region. It's a wider region. It is the region where the fertilization occurs. And here we have a narrow region. This is known as asthenic region. The whole length of the fallopian tube is about 12 to 14 centimeter. Now this is the ovary. It is the primary sex organ of female, and it is attached to the walls of uterus through ovarian ligament. This portion, it is known as the uterus. Once again, the uterus is formed of 3 layers. The external most is the perimetrium. The middle layer is the myometrium, and the innermost layer is the endometrium. Endometrium itself has 2 layers. Stratum basilis and stratum functionalis. Now what happens? Once the female gamete or ova is produced in the ovaries, it passes into the fimbria region. Inside the fimbria region, it's like this. And it has a small hole in the center which receives the ovum, and this is known as ostium, plural ostia, and travels through here. Now this transport, it is helped by the ciliary epithelium that is present on the inner walls of this fallopian tube. Those cilia, through a synchronized beating, help in the transfer of this towards the ampulla region, and this is the region where the fertilization occurs. Now talking about these 3 layers, the endometrium, it is the most glandular region, and it's not a permanent region. It undergoes cyclic changes during the menstrual cycle. This myometrium, it is once again made up of unit muscles which help in contraction, which will help in both. One, the sperms, it will direct sperms towards the ovum, and secondly, during parturition, these undergo contractions, due to which the expulsion of or parturition occurs. This was about the female reproductive system. Now we will try to discuss the structure of ovary in detail. If this is the structure of ovary, on the external side we have germinal epithelium, inside to which we have another layer which is known as tunica albuginea. Now this structure, this is the stroma of the ovary, and this stroma is divided into two parts. The outer region, this is the ovarian cortex, and this region, this is the ovarian medulla. Now the main oogenesis or formation of ova occurs in this cortical region. And this, what does this inner medulla region include? This is a highly vascularized region which has high network of blood vessels, arteries and veins, plus nerves which supply nutrition and other things to this ovary. So you must remember that the oogenesis occurs in this outer region which is known as the cortex region. Now what happens? First of all, before understanding the oogenesis, we must understand oogenesis with folliculogenesis. What is folliculogenesis? We will try to discuss them side by side. Now oogenesis में क्या होता है? oogenesis में we have oogonia, oogonia will transfer into primary oocyte. Once again this is diploid, this is diploid. This primary oocyte will undergo meiosis 1. यहाँ तक जो भी प्रोसेस होता है ये फीटल स्टेज में होता रहता है. Meiosis 1 तो स्टार्ट हो जाएगा बट दिस विल नॉट कंक्लूड. ये अरेस्ट हो जाएगा Meiosis 1 एट डिप्लोटीन stage of prophase 1 of meiosis 1. ये तब तक अरेस्ट रहेगा जब तक प्यूबर्टी नहीं आती है. प्यूबर्टी में दिस प्राइमरी oocyte develops into secondary oocyte. But one thing is there, the distribution of cytoplasm is not same in both these cells. So with the result, one cell will be larger and the second one will be smaller. The larger cell is the secondary oocyte, the smaller cell will be the first polar body. Now once again, suppose this is secondary oocyte. Primary oocyte diploid थी 2n, n and n, but this यहाँ पे डिवीजन ऑफ न्यूक्लियस तो ठीक होगा, बट साइटोप्लाज्म इक्वली डिस्ट्रीब्यूट नहीं होगा, जिसकी वजह से एक जो स्ट्रक्चर बनेगा ये काफ़ी स्मॉल होगा और ये फाइनली डिजेनरेट होता है, एंड दिस वन इट परसिस्ट्स. दिस इज द सेकेंडरी oocyte. Now secondary oocyte will once again undergo division, but this division, that is meiosis second, but this will again be arrested at metaphase of meiosis 2, and after the arrival of sperm, this secondary oocyte will grow into ovum and second polar body. This is second polar body and this is ovum. So यहाँ पे आप देखोगे एक चीज़ जहाँ पे फीमेल oogenesis में क्या होता है कि दिस इज नॉट ए कंटिन्यूस प्रोसेस, दिस इज ए डिसकंटिन्यूस प्रोसेस. कैसे स्टार्ट कहाँ पे हुआ? फीटल स्टेज में, फिर मियोसिस 1 होगी मगर रुक गया, फिर रिज्यूम कब होता है? प्यूबर्टी पे, अंडर द इन्फ्लुएंस ऑफ हार्मोन्स. देन मियोसिस 1 इज कंप्लीटेड which results in the formation of secondary oocyte and a polar body, first polar body. Then as the second division takes place, once again it gets arrested at metaphase. What happens after the arrival of sperm? It resumes its division, that is meiosis 2, which leads to the formation of ovum and the second polar body. Now talking about folliculogenesis. These structures, the oogonia, the primary oocyte, the secondary oocyte, they are not naked. Means they are covered by follicular cells. This is प्राइमरी फॉलिकल, मतलब एक लेयर ऑफ सेल्स इसके अराउंड आ जाएगा जिनको हम ग्रेन्युलोसा सेल्स बोलते हैं. These granulosa cells will protect these growing oogonia. ठीक है, तो this is granulosa cells, and this whole structure which includes this oogonia is the primordial follicle. Sorry, this is primordial follicle. Now what happens in this secondary oocyte? Once again, प्राइमरी oocyte में भी आप देखोगे this once again is surrounded by granulosa cells, and plus we have primary oocyte in the middle. This forms the primary follicle, primordial follicle, then primary follicle, then secondary follicle. Secondary follicle में आपको इसका मैच्योरेशन स्टेट जो होता है, यहाँ पे भी वहाँ पे भी आपको प्राइमरी oocyte ही मिलेगा. देन टर्शियरी में क्या होता है? लेट्स ड्रॉ इट ऑन द अनदर स्लाइड. सपोज ये आपका ओवेरी है, ठीक है, टिश्यू कॉर्टेक्स रीजन. This is the cortex region. So what happens? First of all, we have oogonia. Then we have suppose these are the various stages of oogenesis. Suppose this is oogonia. This is primary oocyte. This is once again primary oocyte. This is secondary oocyte. This I am trying to explain folliculogenesis. Now what happens? यहाँ पे oogonia is surrounded by follicular cells, या इनको हम ग्रेनुलोसा सेल्स भी बोलते हैं, and this structure is known as primordial follicle. Now moving on to primary oocyte once again. This is once again surrounded by follicular cells. अब थोड़े layers increase हो जाएंगे and this is the primary follicle. Moving on to this one. In this secondary follicle, यहाँ पे फिर से follicular cells या granulosa cells होंगे, साथ में एक एक्सटर्नली और एक टाइप ऑफ सेल होगी, दैट इज थीका सेल्स। मगर फिर से प्राइमरी फॉलिकल और सेकेंडरी फॉलिकल दोनों में प्राइमरी oocyte ही होती है। नाउ व्हाट हैपन्स, यहाँ पे अंदर है, नाउ ये यहाँ पे सेकेंडरी oocyte है, इसके दिस इज टर्शरी फॉलिकल। मगर यहाँ पे जो थीका सेल्स थी, दे विल फॉर्म 2 लेयर ऑफ सेल्स, 2 थीका के लेयर्स बनाएंगे, थीका एक्सटर्ना एंड थीका इंटरना। एंड antrum. This is the characteristic feature of this tertiary follicle. ठीक है, तो primordial follicle, primary follicle, secondary follicle, tertiary follicle. Then this tertiary follicle, this matures to form a Graafian follicle. यहाँ पे भी आपका antrum रहेगा, प्लस granulosa cells होंगी। एंड लास्ट में थीका के मेम्ब्रेन्स होंगे। बट some cells help to join this secondary oocyte with the theca layers, and these cells are known as cumulus oophorus. Once again antrum यहाँ पे दिखेगा आपको। This antrum is a fluid filled space। यहाँ पे एक फ्लूइड होता है जिसको हम बोलते हैं लिक्वर फॉलिक्यूला। देन जब भी ये ग्राफियन फॉलिकल फुली मैच्योर होती है, इसका जो थीका मेम्ब्रेन्स है ये रप्चर होते हैं एंड दे रिलीज द सेकेंडरी oocyte। सेकेंडरी oocyte फिर रिलीज करते हैं, इसी प्रोसेस को हम बोलते हैं ओव्यूलेशन। व्हाट इज ओव्यूलेशन? ओव्यूलेशन इज द रिलीज ऑफ secondary oocyte from the Graafian follicle. And when does it occur? It occurs on the middle of the menstrual cycle, that is day 14th of a normal menstrual cycle, which is of 28-day length. Now if we talk about the structure which is released known as ovum, we will try to make a diagram of it. अभी ओवम दिखता कैसा है? बीच में आपको मिलेगी सेकेंडरी oocyte, न्यूक्लियस वगैरह, न्यूक्लियस, सेकेंडरी oocyte, दिस इज प्लाज्मा मेम्ब्रेन, it is surrounded by another layer of cells, एक मेम्ब्रेन बनाती है जिसको हम बोलते हैं जोना पेल्यूसिडा, एंड द स्पेस बिटवीन जोना पेल्यूसिडा एंड प्लाज्मा मेम्ब्रेन, इसको हम बोलते हैं पेरिवाइटलिन स्पेस। ठीक है, नाउ अब पेरिवाइटलिन स्पेस के बाद क्या बाहर क्या है? अब मैंने आपको बोला था कि कोरोनोना, ये जो सेकेंडरी oocyte है, इसको थीका सेल से कौन अटैच करती है? क्यूमुलस oophorus। लेकिन जब ये रप्चर होती है, ये क्यूमुलस oophorus जो है, ये कुछ सेल्स इसके साथ निकलती हैं, दे फॉर्म द कोरोना रेडिएटा, they form the corona radiata. This is the structure of secondary oocyte और ovum, जिसको हम बोलते हैं, एक्चुअली ovum is different but हम यही स्ट्रक्चर बनाते हैं। Now this was the main about the male and the female reproductive system, the structure of ovum. Now one of the important topics that may be asked in the exams is the menstrual cycle. अब menstrual cycle क्या होता है? These are periodic changes that occur in the uterus of female. होता क्यों है? Under the influence of hormones. होता क्या है एक्चुअली इसमें? द एंडोमेट्रियम इज शेड। असल में एंडोमेट्रियम की अगर आप देखोगे 2 लेयर्स होती है। एक होती है स्ट्रैटम बैसिलिस और बाहर की जो होती है इसको हम बोलते हैं स्ट्रैटम फंक्शनलिस। अब जब मेंस्ट्रुएशन होती है, इट इज द स्ट्रैटम फंक्शनलिस विच शेड्स इटसेल्फ ब्लड वेसल्स वगैरह बाहर, क्योंकि काफ़ी ग्लैंडुलर होती है एंड इट इज़ वेरी ससेप्टेबल टू द हार्मोन फ्लक्चुएशंस। ये जल्दी रेस्पॉन्ड करती है अगर कोई भी हार्मोनल फ्लक्चुएशन हमारी फीमेल की बॉडी में अगर होता है। सो ये याद रखना, पूरा एंडोमेट्रियम बाहर नहीं आता, इट इज़ जस्ट द स्ट्रैटम फंक्शनलिस पार्ट विच इज़ अ हाईली ग्लैंडुलर पार्ट, वो बाहर आता है। तो अगर हम साइकिल की तरफ जाएंगे कि यूजुअली क्या होता है इस साइकिल में, सपोज नॉर्मली 28 डेज का होता है। Uterine events, यूट्रिन ओवेंट्स में क्या होता है दैट विल डिस्कस। अंडर द इन्फ्लुएंस ऑफ हार्मोन्स होता है। तो दो टाइप्स के हार्मोन्स होते हैं, अक्ष ओवेरियन हार्मोन्स आसन। ओवेरियन हार्मोन्स दो टाइप्स के, कौन कौन सा? एस्ट्रोजन एंड वी हैव प्रोजेस्टेरोन। And thirdly, we have pituitary hormones, that is FSH and LH. अब देखो होता क्या है ड्यूरिंग मेंस्ट्रुअल साइकिल। फर्स्ट 5 डेज में heavy bleeding, that is endometrium breaks down and it passes through the vaginal opening बाहर की तरफ। ऐसा क्यों होता है वो आगे देखेंगे। सेकंड, उसके बाद 5 दिन के बाद एंडोमेट्रियम वंस अगेन स्टार्ट्स ग्रोइंग। 5 to 14 डेज जो स्टेज होता है इसको हम बोलते हैं फॉलिकुलर फेज। एंड 14th डे पे दिस इज ovulatory phase, and this 14 to 28 days this is luteal phase। अब क्या होता है, पहले 5 दिन में एंडोमेट्रियम आहिस्ता आहिस्ता डीजेनरेट होता है, फिर उसके बाद ये आहिस्ता आहिस्ता ग्रो करता है एंड इट प्रिपेयर्स इटसेल्फ फॉर रिसीविंग द स्पर्म, ताकि प्रेगनेंसी के वक्त एंडोमेट्रियम की लाइनिंग जो होती काफ़ी थिक होनी चाहिए। इफ़ प्रेगनेंसी ऑकर्स, ये जो इसकी थिकनेस जो है कंटिन्यूसली बढ़ती रहेगी, बट इफ़ प्रेगनेंसी डज नॉट ऑकर, इफ फर्टिलाइजेशन डज नॉट ऑकर, ये फिर से डीजेनरेट होती है एंड वंस अगेन द न्यू साइकिल इज स्टार्टेड। अब होता क्यों है, इट्स अंडर द इफेक्ट ऑफ प्रोजेस्टेरोन। अब प्रोजेस्टेरोन कहाँ से आता है, आई विल ट्राई टू शो यू। ये क्यूमुलस ओफोरस, ये ग्रेफियन फॉलिकल। ग्रेफियन फॉलिकल युथी रप्चर गस, यह बनाए स्ट्रक्चर अख यथ इस वनान छु, दिस इज नोन एज कॉर्पस ल्यूटियम। Luteum because it is a yellow body, I have drawn it in white, don't get confused. This corpus luteum, this is the main source of a hormone known as progesterone. Means अगर प्रेगनेंसी होती है, this progesterone will continue to supply the hormone progesterone. अगर प्रेगनेंसी होती है, corpus luteum will continue to secrete progesterone which will help in the maintenance of pregnancy. अब अगर प्रेगनेंसी नहीं हुई, this progesterone इसकी सप्लाई कम होती है because this corpus luteum changes into a degenerated body which is known as corpus albicans. फिर मतलब अगर फर्टिलाइजेशन हो गई, इम्प्लांटेशन हो गई, ये प्रोजेस्टेरोन कंटिन्यूसली सीक्रेट करता रहेगा पहले ट्रिमेस्टर में। बट इफ प्रेगनेंसी डज नॉट ऑकर, तो उसके वक्त क्या होता है, ये कॉर्पस ल्यूटेम जो है आहिस्ता आहिस्ता डीजेनरेट होता है एंड इट विल गेट कन्वर्टेड इनटू कॉर्पस एल्बिकन्स, और इसकी वजह से प्रोजेस्टेरोन की लेवल जो है दैट विल सिग्निफिकेंटली ड्रॉप, जिसकी वजह से एंडोमेट्रियम ब्रेक होता है, क्योंकि एंडोमेट्रियम लाइनिंग ही मेंटेन होती है बाय द हार्मोन प्रोजेस्टेरोन विच इज सिक्रेटेड बाय कॉर्पस ल्यूटियम। वापस अगर आते हैं हम यहाँ पे, अब अगर हम पहले प्रोजेस्टेरोन की बात करते हैं, पहले इसकी डे 14 पे जब ओव्यूलेशन हो गई, साथ में ही कॉर्पस ल्यूटियम बनता है, कॉर्पस ल्यूटियम प्रोजेस्टेरोन सीक्रेट करना स्टार्ट करता है। अब अगर प्रेगनेंसी हो गई, दिस विल कंटिन्यू, ये हम थिकनिंग बढ़ाता रहेगा। बट अगर प्रेगनेंसी नहीं हुई, इट्स क्योंकि अब प्रोजेस्टेरोन की लेवल कम हो जाएगी, अगर प्रेगनेंसी नहीं हुई तो इसकी ड्रॉप हो जाएगी। दूसरा एस्ट्रोजन, एस्ट्रोजन तो फॉलिक्यूलर सेल्स सीक्रेट करती है। ये पहले फॉलिक्यूलर सेल्स सीक्रेट किया, फिर थोड़ा डीप हो जाएगा, बट फिर से ऊपर आएगा क्योंकि कॉर्पस ल्यूटियम जो है इट हैज़ द एबिलिटी टू सिक्रीट एस्ट्रोजन एज वेल। अब ल्यूटिनाइजिंग हार्मोन काम ही होता है, बट एज वी अप्रोच द डे 14 इसकी सर्ज हो जाती है। इट इज द सर्ज ऑफ दिस ल्यूटिनाइजिंग हार्मोन विच कॉजेज ओव्यूलेशन। व्हाट इज ओव्यूलेशन? Ovulation is the phase when the secondary oocyte is released from the Graafian follicle. ठीक? And once again FSH, follicle stimulating hormone. मतलब आप देखोगे कि अपार्ट फ्रॉम प्रोजेस्टेरॉन की आप देखोगे अदर हार्मोन्स जो वो अपनी पीक पे होते हैं ड्यूरिंग ओव्यूलेशन, फिर आहिस्ता आहिस्ता इनकी कंसंट्रेशन कम होती है। सिर्फ एक हार्मोन है दैट इज एस्ट्रोजन विच शोज 2 पीक्स, क्योंकि ग्रोइंग फॉलिक्यूल्स भी सिक्रीट करते हैं एंड प्लस कॉर्पस ल्यूटियम भी सिक्रीट करता है। सो दिस वाज अबाउट मेंस्ट्रुअल साइकिल। Now you may be asked about the diagram of sperm. It's a diagram of sperm. सबसे ऊपर this is acrosome. We have a nucleus. We have 2 centrioles. The one towards the head is the proximal centriole, and the one towards the middle region, this is the distal centriole. This portion, this is the middle piece, and it contains spirally arranged mitochondria, and this is the tail. Simplified diagram. Now acrosome, what is the function of acrosome? It contains various enzymes like zonal lysins, agrosine, hyaluronic acid, hyaluronidase जो hyaluronic acid को ब्रेक डाउन करता है। न्यूक्लियस, इसको हम मेल प्रोलिंग न्यूक्लियस भी बोल सकते हैं बिकॉज इट कंटेन्स ओनली 23 सेट ऑफ क्रोमोसोम्स। प्रॉक्सिमल सेंट्रियोल ये किस काम आता है? इट हेल्प्स इन द डिवीजन, सेल डिवीजन या क्लीवेज हम बोल सकते हैं आफ्टर फर्टिलाइजेशन। डिस्टल सेंट्रियोल ये टेल, एक्सोनिम पार्ट ऑफ द टेल बनाने के काम आता है। टेल का काम ही होता है ये फ्लैजुलर मूवमेंट में काम करता है एज द स्पर्म्स मूव टुवर्ड्स द ओवम ड्यूरिंग व्हेन स्पर्म्स ट्रैवल। अब सारी जो एनर्जी आती है इट comes from this mitochondria, spirally arranged mitochondria. So this is the structure of the sperm. Now और भी कुछ अगर पूछा जाएगा that is the implantation के बारे में पूछा जा सकता है। implantation के बारे में क्या पूछा जा सकता है? like we have फर्टिलाइजेशन के बाद जाइगोट बनता है। दिस जाइगोट अंडरगोज माइटोसिस। द फर्स्ट माइटोसिस टेक्स प्लेस आफ्टर 24 to 30 आवर्स ऑफ फर्टिलाइजेशन। क्लीवेज जो होता है it is holoblastic. Holoblastic means cell completely divides into two. ठीक है. What is the difference between cleavage and division? माइटोटिक डिवीजन और क्लीवेज में क्या फ़र्क है? डिवीजन और क्लीवेज में ये फ़र्क होता है कि क्लीवेज में जो इसका साइज था, सेल का ओवरऑल साइज सेम रहेगा. ठीक है, ये तो अटैच्ड है मगर ओवरऑल साइज जो है वो सेम रहेगा, इसी में डिवीजन हो जाएगा. फाइनली 8 to 16 सेल स्टेज बनता है. एट दिस स्टेज इज नोन एज मरूला स्टेज. मरूला स्टेज क्यों बोलते हैं? बिकॉज इट लुक्स लाइक मलबरी. मलबरी को लैटिन में मरूला बोलते हैं. देन आफ्टर the cells in the morula, they differentiate into outer trophocytes and inner cell mass, and we have this cavity which is known as blastocoele. And this structure is known as blastula. But one thing you have to remember in this, during all these stages, these cells have an outer covering. जिसकी वजह से it cannot implant itself, and this covering is zona pellucida. But as the फाइनली जोना पेलुसिडा जो है वो डिसइंटीग्रेट होता है, एंड द न्यू स्ट्रक्चर दैट इज द ब्लास्टोसिस्ट. दिस इज इम्प्लांटेड इन द एंडोमेट्रियम. अब हम एंडोमेट्रियम को एंडोमेट्रियम नहीं बोलते हैं, इट इज नोन एज डेसिडुआ. This is how implantation occurs. And thank you. This was all for today. Let's meet in the next lecture. Thank you.